Literally everything that you played was so goth pressure, so elitist. It was like this inspired the detachment.
Hello and welcome to Incursion Tactics. Today we're going to be talking all about Meganobz. Are they overpowered? Are Bully Boyz overpowered? Is it a problem that is is it a problem that is just restricted to that detachment? Or should you just leave our orcs alone and everything is fine and you needn't worry about it? All is well. We'll cover off all of that and more. We're also going to be talking about our three hot takes, our three favourite units, and the ways to think about approaching them, whether you're piloting the orcs or trying to fend off the green tide. So there's going to be lots of things to talk about and lots of useful tidbits we're going to cover off. And today I am joined by Jack, the venerable Jack. Welcome, Jack. How are you doing?
I'm all good, Luke. Thank you very much for inviting me on. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I want to talk about something very important before we begin. So we're going to get into the orc stuff, but we're joined by GW royalty today now.
Oh, no. Stop it.
So Jack's been on the channel before, and we did a really good deep dive talk around orcs and painting, as Jack's painted some awesome orc models to the point now where he's made history and been, well, I'll let you share.
So, if you are an orc enthusiast and you have your new shiny book, if you go to page 90, just after the Bully Boyz attachment, you will see that my orcs are now featured in the codex. All these bits here, all those Meganobz, all those knobs, they're mine. It's like, honestly, it was, it was a little bit of a crazy notion when I found that out. Not to go too far into it, basically, I was emailed by the 40k studio and they basically turned around and said, your goths look amazing, can we use them for a publication? I said, yes, but which one? They said, obviously we can't tell you, but sometime in spring. And I was like, okay, cool. And I had no contact until I saw my codex and I just was like, oh my God. This is yeah.
They didn't give you no more information than that?
No, they literally, all they said was, can we use your stuff from a publication? I said, absolutely yes. And they said, I gave like a little spiel, a bit of description about my army. Like, thank you so much. You're very passionate. We can see that. And we'll be in contact. I didn't get an email back. However, what I'll do is I may just drop them a line and just say, thanks for X and Y. But no, I was really happy. But also, this is a little tidbit for you, Luke. I kept this for this reason, this recording. Right. So at the Front of Skulls doubles I was at, I spoke to one of the guys who works in the studio, and he worked on the Orc Codex, and he said that the Bully Boyz detachment was inspired by my list that I played him with a year and a half ago.
No.
Yeah, mate. I swear on my mum's life. I swear on my mum's life. So back then I played. Yeah, it's my fault. Yeah, you can blame this smug here. Blame for this because it was all about because I had 12 Truck Boy Meganobz. I had 10 knobs in Power Claws, all charging up, and literally I won't say the guy's name for privacy reasons, but it was like, literally everything that you played was so goth pressure, so elitist. It was like this inspired the detachment. Wow. And I remember, and he was like, remember that when you said about teleporters, that you missed out on the teleporters? This is why it's back in the book. And I was like, so not only am I in the codex, I was an inspiration for the Bully Boyz detachment. And I'm just there like...
So good.
Mate, I was so happy. Like, generally, really, really happy to hear that.
That's amazing. It just shows you just keep plugging away and doing what you love, and you just don't know what sort of cosmic impact you're going to have. Who would have thunked it like at all? Like Eddie, you just don't know. Wow, that's blowing me. I didn't know that. I mean, I was. Yeah,
I wanted to see your general reaction to that.
I was so like made up for you in the like not even knowing that bit. Like that's incredible. Like that's
and it's like
wow, yeah, no, because that's really good. Which is this is even more appropriate now. My decision to talk about Meganobz. So I've invited you on the show to talk about Meganobz, and I want to because what I'm seeing, they look super good right now, orcs, don't they? When you compare to the not so golden boys, but Meganobz. in particular, if you haven't looked at the data sheet, obviously they're very, very tough. They've got the 2-up armor save, they've got the 4+ feel no pain, and now in Bully Boyz they get 2 wars. What's better than 1 war? Like 2 wars. So they get that over 2 turns, which is really, really good. So a list akin to what you enjoy playing and doing is potentially quite oppressive at 30 points. 30 points of Meganobz. So that's the question. I'm curious now. Obviously, there's a massive amount of bias with that's the army you just love playing. So you're going to play it regardless of whether they're going up in points or not going up in points in the not too distant future. Do you think they're OP? Do you think they're too much at the moment?
Okay, so taking my, obviously what I've said earlier into consideration, taking my love for this detachment out, no. No. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason behind that. So, in any other detachment, absolutely fine. There is no problem with the Meganobz. There's no problem.
At 30 points.
At 30 points. At 40, I would be more accepting of it. Sorry, let me rephrase that. 30 points is a little bit too low now, because the big thing that you spoke about in the data sheet was obviously toughness 6, 2-up armor save, 300 piece. But the biggest thing that they changed was crumping time from doing devastating wounds in the war to a 4-up feel no pain. And when I saw that, I just went, that is ridiculous. If you're just basing that off the War Tribe detachment, you've still got hard as nails. You can still pop that 1 CP strat and go toughness 6, everything's with me on 5s or 4s.
Yep.
And I've got 4-up for no pain. And that is horrible on the turn of the war. Bully Boyz just makes it worse, because it's just T6, T6, 2-up save, 4-up for no pain, with power claws, kill saws, custom shooters, all that gubbins for delight. I do agree. I would definitely agree with the internet that Bully Boyz right now are quite overpowered. I was fully expecting when we got our points last Thursday that we were going to go. Then Megas will go up to 40. The fact that we didn't makes me go, okay, this is like, I don't know how I feel about this, because it means that we're going to get we may get a points increase in after the next day of sheet.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know, because it all depends on how people play it. But if we look at the double war thing is fantastic. Double war is wicked. As I said to my boys in the meme team, if you're running the Bully Boyz list, every single unit needs to be benefiting from that second war. So even apart from, I would say, Storm Boys or Grots, because they're your main objective grabbers, they're going to be just standing on the back of the board. It's fine. If you go through the enhancements of Bully Boyz and you're talking about them on Meganobz, like Arms of the Teeth, 4 rerolls in the war with your power claws and kill saws, Too Arrogant to Die, fight on death and a 3-up. Always looking for a fight, you can consolidate up to 6 inches on the war. Crushing Impact with just tank shot for Meganobz, it's ridiculous. If you have a unit of Gaz and Megas, it's 8 going into it. Cut them down, an amazing strat. You go, something's locked into combat. Oh, it's a big night. Oh, it's failed a battlefield test. 1, 2, or 3, you are running. You are dead. You're dead. It's so good. And then Hulking Brutes, Armor Contempt for Orcs, which is can be done not on the wall, which is amazing. And then plus, it's all 1 CP. There's no 2 CP strats. There's no 3 strats. It's all 1 strat. And the fact that your CP refunding with Grots, yes, Grots got a little bit nerfed because they now can be if they're battle shot, they don't get the benefit. They're still powerful, man. You're still gonna swarm the board. Is your army going to be elite? Absolutely, but this is what the detachment does. It's an elite orc detachment that is meant, as you can see in the description, for Fortress being charging a heavily fortified bridge on a void ship, attacking a spearhead formation. It's meant to be elite. Yep. So, going back to the question before, are Meganobz OP? Yes, in the Bully Boyz. Any other detachment? No. I think they're okay. Points maybe a little bit, but yes, I would agree. Megas are OP, hands down.
See, I wonder if how it makes me wonder how they're going to deal with it, because part of me thinks I just put them up 5 points, just put them up 5 points, and then you make it so that the presence of Meganobz isn't so constant in the meta, because that'll be the kind of is often the sort of tipping point for GW is win rates, but also just like prevalence of certain things. It's a clumsy way of dealing with things, but I reckon that's where they're going to go, because other than that, it's then tweaking the rules and the detachment, and it's far too early for me to kind of think. I don't think anything. I wouldn't want to even think about what should be changed in the rules.
Yeah.
But if it's just Bully Boyz, if it's just that's what we're seeing and that's the sort of de facto kind of like really good thing, then that could be the thing that they decide to sort of target in the upcoming data slate. But remains to be seen.
Maybe, yeah. Like I had a test game against Dark Eldar, and I lost by 5 points because I couldn't catch him. I just couldn't catch him. So like, there are some armies that are going to be amazing to do against Bully Boyz. There are some armies which are going to run circles around them. But again, it all comes down to like the matchups, the armies that can deal with it. Like a heavy tank army would look at Bully Boyz and go, "Oh no."
Yeah.
You can't stop 18 or 17 Meganobz that just crushing across the board. Some in trucks, some deep striking, all that jazz. But I agree. I don't know how, if maybe going up by 5 points or by 10 points, in fact. 40 points would be a bit more suitable, I'd say. But I guess we'll just have to wait to see.
Excellent. The other thing we were going to talk about as well was hot takes, our 3 top picks from the book overall.
Yeah.
And I'll kick things off to begin with. But to move away from the topic of Meganobz for a moment, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in with this is like a really bland number 3, but I think it's actually understanding the Orc Codex, and I think it's an important one to actually put quite high, and that is the humble truck. And the reason for that is it's cheap as chips. You look at like a Chimera, and it's like 70 points. It does pretty much the same thing. It's not as tough as a Rhino or all of these things maybe, but the cost of it's perfect, and it's got that friggin' wrecking ball that makes tank shocking hilarious, and
So good.
it is so good. You just throw in bucket loads of dice, which is just it's so on point flavor wise, but also you get something out of the truck, not just after it's deployed a unit. You can go right now, barrel off over there, and I haven't had to invest in a death roller to actually just squash something. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice little action monkey, all for 65 points. You've thrown up something threatening, or ferried some grots around, tank shock something, sat on an objective. I mean, I've had trucks score like 5, 10, 15 primary over a game, because what are they going to do? Are they going to shoot the truck, or are they going to shoot the 18 Meganobz? I mean, what's the thing here? So I think trucks it's like a really low key, such an important part of the army. So that was my hot pick. If you're not using trucks, I think you really got to think about what they offer you in the army and what they give you, and is there something that actually you could cut? That's that the truck's going to do a better job, help deliver your units there where you need them to be, and also provide those other little angles, other little bonuses as well. So not the most exciting one to kick things off, but I think very, very relevant. I don't know. Are you more of a battle wagon fan with the Megas, or do you get trucks into your lists?
You see, now a lot of people would say that. So I've got two battle wagons and the old custom fortress, the Fortress and Forge World, because I used as Gaz's truck, Gaz's battle wagon in 9th edition.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. But in 10th, I hate battle wagons. I hate them. I used them in 9th to basically go, there's 110 points to ferry up my stuff up the board, drop out, and then same thing as trucks. Run away, hold objectives, and do their thing. But in my 3rd pick, if we're going down this route, I would, as Luke would quite rightfully say, if this unit is not in your army, you may have to look at this again, because squeezing in 65 points can be sometimes quite hard.
Yes.
But I think squeezing in 40 points is a lot easier. So I would say the humble grots.
Yes.
Grots like, as they called Gretchen these days now.
Yeah.
From my old memories. yeah, Gretchen are just they're still great. 40 points for 10 models with OC2 each. The Runt Herd OC1, Leadership 7, CP farming on a 4 up is just yeah. They're great. I mean, they like as I said earlier, they had like a little nerf, so they can't even if you're battle shocked in before the codex, you could get CP. Whereas now, if you're battle shocked, you can't get the CP.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't have like 3 inches of grots on the battlefield just running up the board and just going right, grab here, grab there, and just kind of be an absolute nuisance. And for screening monkeys, they're perfect. Literally just on your backboard, like I religiously will play with 30 grots. I get ridiculed for it because grots, like, it's 120 points. But the fact is, you hide them at the back of your board. No one's coming down on your backboard. Like, if you're playing corners, that's completely screened off. You're not getting anything nearby. You're playing Dawn of War, so like old school across the whole board. Can be done, but then you kind of lose out on some kind of objective scoring.
They're so important.
Then I think grots are my hot pick for number top 3, hands down.
I appreciate what you're saying about the nerf, but I think it's kind of on brand. I mean, they're gonna get shot before it becomes relevant anyway, and grots should run away. You know, if you're a proper orc, then that you want them to get scared and embarrass themselves. That's what they're there to do. Like, so or run over, like whatever. Who cares? It's a grot. Like. I don't think I've ever cared less about something being nerfed. I was just like, yeah, they deserve it. Look at them.
I do like grots in my armies. Like, I do sympathise with them occasionally, but we're doing a good punting here and there when they don't act normal.
Yeah. So what's your number 2 then? What's above grots?
I'm going to be something. It's a character which I think personally has got the biggest boost since like it's came out.
Yeah,
and that's Snickrot. Boss Snickrot.
Okay.
The reason why is only because one simple rule: lone operative.
Yeah.
Finally, an orc's got lone operative. Finally, he's got infiltrate. Finally, he can be a little bit more. You can have a unit like an Orky Calidus. It's obviously not going to do the same thing where you can vector CP and go, oh yeah, you think costs an extra CP, but the ability to kind of vanish and then reappear on an objective marker is great. And he's no pushover in combat either. Tough as 5, 6 attacks.
You've got to respect him.
Yeah, and he's 85 points. He's solid. So if you really are pushed for points, you could even just have like Snickrot on your home objective, going, "It's mine, and you can't shoot me off it." And I mean, it can be a little bit cheeky, but it's what a Blood Axe would do anyway. They're sneaky little grots.
Could you still put him in a unit with commandos now?
You can. He can still put a unit. You can still join him to commandos. But obviously, then they would lose the lone op keyword.
But then, if they killed the commandos and he on his own, does he then become a lone operative again? Because that could be randomly good. If it works like that, that's something to think about, is understanding that. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. I feel like it might, unless there's something that explicitly states you lose lone operative as soon as you go in a thing.
Well, they do say, like, once a unit dies, you become your own unit again. So I would get, and you don't exactly lose your special abilities. You just lose, the unit you join doesn't benefit from it. So it might do it. So that might be a bit random, maybe quite cheeky.
Just imagine you train them up and then they get shot, and then it's like, okay, you've killed all the commandos, and now you can't kill Snickrot now.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh, that's all.
Yeah, but then again,
off the board somewhere.
Yeah, but then again, like commandos, annoyingly, they're still, in my opinion, not great. They're not great.
They're still too expensive.
They're too many points. If you could have a unit of 5, perfect. You'd be jolly good. But now it's just, 10 of them is quite a bit of a push. And they're still boys at the end of the day with stealth. But it is what it is. But no, Snickrot would be my number 2. What about your number 2, Luke? What would you say?
Storm Boys, straight up. Just they're really, really good. I actually consider them as one of the more flexible units in the codex. They're obviously just boys, but they're boys that you can stage. They're probably one of the best staging units because of the movement 12 and the ability to float through ruin walls. So you can have a unit of 10 being like quite aggressive. Obviously, pour one out for Zagstruck, but you can have the Storm Boys and you can just sit in a ruin and be like, well, you have to respect any kind of cheap scoring unit or even something reasonably tough. They're going to wander out and give it a go. And the other way of using them is obviously as little action monkeys, 65 points. They can just deep strike. Or they can start. What I tend to do is at the moment I have two units of 5, one off, one on, and then the unit of 5 are staging, and then they'll try and get something like area denial or cleanse or something. They just bolt up the board, and then the other one's coming on to get the point that's the most difficult, because it's very often when you're playing against people that kind of know to screen, then you kind of accept it's very unlikely you're getting that one bottom corner. But then I find there's often that one corner on that turn for either investigate or gauge, that you need to kind of get to. So having that one to that pop down and do that there. And then once they've done that, again, they've got movement 12, they can just fly and invariably try to get something else. Often they'll come down, score points and die because people don't want you to score points, but they're still worth that. And
absolutely.
I like the option of having the bigger unit if you wanted that, as just as a kind of like, they don't necessarily have to actually kill anything, but just by being there, you're kind of exerting a bit of board control, which I quite like.
Yeah, because it terrifies people, because like if that charges and that's still like on the war, that's still 40 attacks, strength 5, AP 1, damage 1, with power core in there as well, so 36 attacks and then power core attacks. It's going to be, it's not pleasant, and that big unit would be quite terrifying to see. Like if it's hiding behind wood, like a ruined terrain piece, you can't shoot it. It's like, and jump out and go. And now the best thing is they can fall back out of combat and still charge, which is ridiculous. It is obscene, and like.
The subtle thing about that is they then also, in giving them that really awesome rule, they took away the random, you could maybe take some mortal wounds as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what?
I think 2 units of Storm Boys with power claws, just because, like, it's that threat factor, and like if it gets to you, like, they might not do much, but again, they'll score points like for secure no man's land or corners or behind enemy lines if I can get in there and stuff. So it's I rate that second choice, Luke. That's wicked. That's awesome.
What's your number 1?
I think I wouldn't be a self-respected golf player if I didn't say Gaz in his Meganobz. It's what can I say?
I literally thought it was going to be Nobz, Meganobz, Gazgal. That's how I thought this was going to play out. But I'm impressed that it's just Gaz at the top and not.
It's I mean, as we discussed, like I think if you're taking Gazgal, you're going to take Meganobz. Like that's obliged anyway. But no, like if you look at it from a points perspective, Gaz and McCurry's 235, Meganobz 180, so that's 400-ish points on a unit that can just walk into anything and just delete it. Especially with the +1 to hit, +1 to wound that Gaz does. And the things you can do now with Gaz is ridiculous. Like it's just so good, because now you can now they've given him a sweep attack finally, so he can now finally chug out 13 attacks that can rip Marines in half. So you're hitting, and even Terminators, because your strength 9 on the war, so it's 2s and 2s, and it's like all doing damage 2 apiece, and you can just wipe units out completely. You've got his Gazgal's Wildbanner now. He does crit hits on 5 and 6s, so like. I've now changed my list to have Gazgal with power claws now. So the unit rocks up with combi weapons and power claws, and then they get lethal hits on a 5 or a 6. So you go into a knight, and then literally, hopefully with statistics, you should rip a knight in 2 with Gaz's unit. Because I was using kill saws, but I was slacking in the infantry killing with that unit. So power claws will be my choice. But no, number 1 pick, hands down, in the Bully Boyz detachment, Gazgal, Makari, and 6 Meganobz with combis and power claws. That's what I would say. What about yours?
The humble beast boss has had a bit of a glow up, and I think him in Snagger detachment with the enhancement. So he goes to damage 3, And so then you can get the dev wounds on anti-monster and vehicle 4+, with damage 3 attacks, which is quite spicy. And I think that's just, and again, very, very low cost. So it's kind of like a bit of a subtle one, but I think it's just how, I think you're just going to see him a lot more. I think you're going to get, obviously, war bosses quite a bit, but he's going to be a significant part of what makes beast snaggers good. And I think as well, with the sort of bit of a hit that the mounted characters got and the Squig Hog Riders themselves, it's put a bit more of a spotlight on him. I think it's just a very powerful, but for what it does, it's very, very cheap. So he's got 6 damage 3 attacks, ferocious rage. So whenever he makes a charge move until the end of the turn, he gets dev wounds. So he's just going to be, and when he's leading a unit, he gets +1 to hit. So you stick him with some beast snaggers and just charge them into a tank, and they're going to kill. He's going to take chunks out of the tank for 80 points.
That's not bad.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty spicy. it's one of those units where you're like, okay, yeah, beast snagger boys with beast boss, whatever, and then you're like, okay, I got dev wounds and I anti-vehicle on 4+, and it's like, and I'm damage 3. So, okay. And then
you've also got the hunters on as well as their detachment roll. So you get real to hits,
oath of
or
moment,
real to charge rolls.
Orky oath of moment is what I'm calling that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Yeah, I like it. It's that's awesome. Because I saw many people use that beast boss before the codex. I just was like,
why?
No,
Yeah,
it's like I don't need the beast boss to do his job. I've got the pigs to do that for me. Mozrog is the one that did it for me in the pre-codex and stuff. So did his job. He took down tanks. He soaked up firepower. But the beast boss on the foot-mounted beast boss didn't do it for me. But he's a cool model. It's an amazing model. But just like now, I see that little trick. That's that's proper killing. That will scare the hell out of like any vehicle, like any knight and stuff. Like it may not kill a knight in one go, but you've got a good enough chance to like do some serious damage.
When you consider that's 80 points, and then the Snagger Boys, which are 100 and something now, and they go in a truck and they're just barreling around the board, and it's just that threat, as I said before, like it's quite extreme. And then if you've got like multiple units of that, then it's quite horrendous. And then you've got the other stacking of that. And I think this is something true of all the war bosses at the moment. They all seem quite aggressively costed, and you get these little pockets of even just like the humble war boss getting all those extra attacks on the wild steel. Yeah, it's just all of a sudden you just think, oh, it's fine, yeah, I'll be all right. And then it what the thing that you've just pushed them into just melts, and the opponent's confused, and it's just very savage. And I think that's just that's kind of why I wanted to sort of talk about him, because I think that's just a very real thing with war bosses in general. Like all the boss kind of characters at the moment, they do just sort of do surprising amounts of work, and
too right.
You gotta respect them. So yeah, that's our top 3. But we're going to be talking about 2 lists. We've each written a list that we're going to go into in the members video that I'm going to be doing on this. If you want to be a member, it's $2.99 a month. Some people more content. I'm going to be doing weekly videos essentially, and this is the next one we're going to be doing is going to be talking about some lists and unpacking a bit more individual units. To talk a bit more sort of high level in this video, go a bit more into some depth and some tips and tricks into the next one. In addition to the extra weekly content that you get for being a member, I have also paired up with Epic Flail, have an awesome Discord, and we're going to be offering that Discord access to all paying members of this channel. So as an extra bonus of being members of the content. And we've got practically 100 members in that Discord now. Lots of different conversation, great hobby chat, a support section. We've got a meme section. We've got list writing. There's a bit about old world as well, all sorts of really cool stuff, talking about events, going to events together and stuff. Really good perks being a member. So if you're interested in enjoying this sort of content, then check that out. Also got some affiliate links in the video description. So if you're considering buying more miniatures and you want to support the channel, then that is an excellent way to do so. And please consider doing that. They help the channel out. That's always appreciated. In the meantime, we'll wrap this one up now. If you are a member, we'll catch you on that members video. Jack, thank you very much for helping out with this video.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Keep rolling those dice. Stay tuned for more.